I mean, A. B. This notion that the market measures what people want, to some extent, sure. But there's 100 ways to measure what people want. For example, in World War II, and I have to stop after this, you all do know that in World War II, the decision was made by the Republicans and the Democrats and Roosevelt as president, all together, no dissension, no major dissension, that relying on a market in the war was not a good idea. It would be dangerous. Simple reason. So many resources had to be diverted for the war effort to build planes and trains and the uniforms for the soldiers and all that, that there wouldn't be very many resources left to produce consumer goods. You know, meat, sugar, gasoline, basics. And so if there was too little of that, then there would be a difficult struggle among the American people to buy the scarce basics. And that would drive up, that's how markets work, right? If there's a shortage of supply and it's less than the demand, remember the little exercise you had to do? Demand, the price goes up. Okay, well, let's see these smarties in the War Department in Washington. If the price goes up, then the scarce milk, sugar, meat, gasoline, really important things, would all go to the richest people. Now, you need unity in a war. You need all those poor people, the grunts that are in the army, not to get letters from home about how we got no food, but the rich family up there. We don't have milk for the children, but they got very fat cats up at the top of the hill in that big house. This would destroy the unity for a war. So in order to avoid the disunity that would threaten the war effort, no more market. And what did the government do? It issued ration cards. For those of you who don't know your history, a little lesson, and you'll love it. And for those of you who know a little bit about Marxist phrases, you'll love it even more. The government produced a ration card. If you went into a store to buy a quart of milk, money wouldn't do it. You had to have a ration card entitling you to 1 quart or 2 quarts or 3 quarts. And a store owner who gave you milk without a ration card would be liable to arrest. That was committing a crime. Well then, how did the government assess needs and wants? It decided to use need. And it did a study of what people need. And it distributed ration cards according to its understanding of people's needs. If you had more children, you got more ration cards for milk. If you had fewer children, you didn't. It had nothing to do with your income. It had to do with the government's assessment of your need. Here's a way to phrase it. The ration cards were distributed to each according to their needs. U.S. government, because there was an urgent need to fight a war. Suppose you thought there was an urgent need to give equality to people who have been suppressed and repressed for the history of your whole country. Is that a worthwhile purpose? Maybe you should issue ration cards to fund that, or to do something about the homelessness, which in this city is an epidemic, as it is in other parts of the country, too. Maybe finally this eradicating poverty, which we do forever, could finally be handled by saying, wait a minute, let's divert the resources needed, and the rest of us will have ration cards so we can share what there is according to our needs while we solve an urgent problem, you know, like a war. Doesn't take that much imagination. But nobody then questioned that the government was a perfectly reasonable agency to ascertain what people's wants and needs are and to figure out in a democratic way how to meet them. The notion that we need a market to do that is nuts. It's as if you said it at the Thanksgiving dinner you're all going to have in a few weeks. That the only way to distribute the different parts of the turkey among the members of the family around the table is to have you all bid. How much is that drumstick worth, Grandma? Well, come on, that's using a market. Folks, your mother makes the turkey, the family consumes it, a market is between the producer and the consumer, and the way it works is the consumers bid, and that determines the price. that how you're going to handle the turkey? You wouldn't do it. And if any of you said it to your mother or father around the Thanksgiving table, your mother or father would very likely lean across the table, smack you in the face, and give you the following lecture. This is a family where we love each other. We do things for each other out of love. And to introduce that disgusting bargaining that you're into, we're going to bargain, we're going to deny grandma stuffing because she hasn't got enough money to pay for it. That's the opposite of love. Right. You're bringing in a market, it destroys love, to which I've always thought the wonderful best answer is, gee, if the market destroys love inside the household, maybe it does that outside too. I will see you in January. Thank you.